going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. And today we're going to be discussing John Lynch's recent comments about Jimmy Garoppolo. Matt, recently, he was on the I Test for Two podcast, and he was asked if there's any doubt in his mind Jimmy Garoppolo will be the team's quarterback when the season begins, and he answered, no, not at all. I really believe that. What do you make of this? Is this just standard GM talk, or is there actually something to read into?
I think that the longer we've gone on and the more that I've explored the situation, the more it seems to me that John Lynch is actually Jimmy G's hype man. Everybody knows that player-wise, he's well-liked. George Kittle especially will sing his praises. The front office, John Lynch is the guy that hypes up Jimmy. What you don't see is Kyle giving this effusive praise to Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think that's by design. I think what they're doing is they're trying to be rough with Jimmy in terms of coaching, telling him, hey, we haven't seen the growth that we thought we were going to see. You haven't been available. You haven't been healthy. This is tough love. While at the same time throwing John Lynch out in front of the cameras to kind of hype Jimmy up to keep him from slipping too far off the wagon, as it were. To me, it's GM speak, to be honest. Again, it's maybe keep Jimmy a little bit in line. And there's another aspect of this that I'll touch on after we get your thoughts. But to me, it's just John Lynch is the hype guy. Kyle has to be the hammer. It's a good cop, bad cop situation, I think. And I mean, really, when he's asked that in an interview, what is he supposed to say? Like, no, Jimmy's not going to be here. Like, no, we don't like Jimmy. You can't say that. So without getting too far the tea leaves yet, I think that this is just much to do about nothing. It's just it's another milk toast, and I said this during the live stream, milk toast, and somebody actually spelled out M-I-L-K and then toast. This is like M-I-L-Q-E whatever, it's a different word. But it's just that ho-hum, middle-of-the-road, non-committal response that we see from executives and coaches everywhere all across the league.
When I first heard this quote, a lot of people were making a lot out of it. They were saying, oh, look at this. Obviously, we're all wanting a quarterback, but they don't want a quarterback. They want Jimmy. Look at what John Lynch said. My first initial reaction was damage control. They have all of these stories coming out here about they're interested in X quarterback, Y quarterback, Z quarterback. And then they're like, oh, yeah. Somebody's like, hey, what about Jimmy, the one you do have? And John Lynch was like, oh, yeah, we do have Jimmy. And he's like, oh, no. Jimmy's coming back. Trust me. He's going to be starting there week 1. We love Jimmy. And to kind of expand on the quote, he said, being available was a big part of this thing. So we probably, as a stated goal, we have to insulate ourselves better. We got to have better options if he's not there. I've watched people go through this in their careers when they struggled early. It happened to me early. Then I went 8 years without missing a practice. So I believe things can happen, and I believe they will for him. I really believe that Jimmy is our guy. I agree with you, Matt. And I think it's a lot of kind of GM coach speak to where there's certain things you need to put out there to either instill some confidence in your quarterback, to make other teams think, hey, we can't take this team for a sucker if we do want to have a trade with them, because they appear to be pretty comfortable with their own guy. Although their actions might hint at otherwise, John Lynch is coming out here and saying publicly, no, we're happy. You saw Jake Glazer. I think you saw Adam Schefter as well, all say they're looking to improve, but at the same time, if they don't, no biggie. We got Jimmy. We're happy with that. So that's kind of where I feel about it. I did think it was interesting, though, that he was a little blunt about, basically all but guaranteeing Jimmy's going to be here week 1.
Yeah, I mean, again, what is he supposed to say? And the interesting thing that he did say was, look at my injury history. I was injured and then went years without another injury. And Jimmy Garoppolo himself in an interview not too long ago was like, hey, look, I know that offseason is, this is going to be about developing some injury prevention. I don't really know what that means, but Jimmy himself is aware that he hasn't been healthy and available. And he knows that that's something that has to change if he's going to be going forward with this team. And, maybe it's a situation where the ups and downs of his health have actually affected the way that his progression has gone in terms of NFL quarterback play. Maybe he couldn't improve because he'd just been battling injuries. Who's to say? We didn't get to see enough of him this year to really make a determination whether or not he had improved, although he looked really, really just mediocre week 1 against the Cardinals. Who's to say? My thing is, when you look past the words, right? Kyle is not singing his praises. I don't think Kyle ever liked Jimmy. I don't think, not that he didn't like him, but that wasn't his guy. That was never his guy. He wanted Kirk Cousins, which is, looking back, is just so weird to me now. But Kirk Cousins has actually played, so at least there's that. Even if he hasn't played outstanding, he hasn't been terrible. Just a middle of the road quarterback. And maybe that's all Kyle thinks that he needs as long as he's consistently there. I mean, we've seen the team as one with Jimmy. Here's my thing. They need Jimmy G's cap number to come down one way or another. And they haven't. I mean, they're not going to cut him right away until they have the plan of the future. But the other thing they haven't done is try to restructure or extend him to get cap relief. And so this kind of standing pat in all phases of, the term, and not extending him, not cutting him, not doing anything. When you have free agency coming up before the draft, before you can really address it, there's something going on. And if I'm just looking at what are the available scenarios that we could be talking about, the two that come to mind is they're really pushing for Deshaun Watson, or they're having sweetheart talks with Robert Saleh about potentially doing the Sam Darnold thing. Because on the other hand, we heard stories coming out this week that the Jets aren't really, too fussed about, their quarterbacks. And they're like, well, we'll do the interviews. We haven't really ramped up. We want to talk to Sam before we make any determination or really make a move. And that's weird to me too. So for me, I look at it and it's just, all right, is there something going on? Because they can't let Jimmy's cap number be what it is. It's too much and it's too easy to really move on from. So something's there. And what it tells me is they don't think Jimmy's the guy, but they don't know if they have a better alternative.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, his cap number is big, especially given the cap situation this year with COVID. It was a big percentage even before that, but now that it's taking a step backwards, reducing, it even hurts that much more. So I think the 49ers are in a tough situation here, but I do think it's telling that they did not restructure. They didn't, do any sort of addition to his contract to kind of make it more likely that he has to stay here or they can't move on as easily, because they could have done that and freed up some money, but they chose not to do that. Matt, my question for you is, did they mess up how they handled the situation? Did they go about it the wrong way with all of their public interest in these other quarterbacks? Or do you think that's just the nature of the business? They're adults, go about it and do your work.
I think that it's the latter. You have to be able to not only conduct your business the way that you need to, you also need to be able to be honest about it. I don't think anybody wants them to blow smoke up Jimmy's backside. I don't think anybody wants them to, come out and give dishonest answers. That happens sometimes, and you never like to see it. It's far better that the team just comes out and goes like, look, we know it's not an easy thing to hear, but it's a business. And so if we have a chance to improve, of course, we're going to take that opportunity. And if you can't handle it, that just reinforces our decision that you actually aren't the guy and we do need to improve. So from my standpoint, it's like, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, we're going to come out. We're going to say exactly what we're doing. If somebody asks us a question, we're not going to dodge the question. We're going to answer it truthfully. And if that hurts your feelings, so be it. That we're doing what we have to do and what's best for the team. And that's exactly what they should be doing. And fans shouldn't be upset about that. And I know some are, but they're being honest, and that's all you can ask from a regime.
Yeah, a lot of teams, a lot of regimes will not give you that honesty. I mean, what you first said made me think of Coach Kingsbury with the Cardinals. There's that, kind of infamous graphic that they tweeted out. Josh Rosen's our guy. He's our starting quarterback. And then a few weeks later, they went and selected Kyler Murray number 1 overall. So it's a lot of doublespeak, but the 49ers, I don't know, they seem to most of the time be giving it to you straight. And I respect that because a lot of regimes don't. And as far as improving, look, if I know it's completely different trying to compare a normal, corporate job or whatever to an NFL player's job. But if I'm at work and I see my boss interviewing somebody every day to replace me, either that tells me I need to do better, or they just don't like me. I think in this case, it's the former. Jimmy just needs to do better, and he needs to stay healthy. You cannot have a quarterback consistently injured and expect to just, without a question, continue to have the starting job.
Well, I think the former actually makes the latter, right? They don't like him because he's not doing as well as he should and staying as healthy as he should. Bottom line is the team is doing exactly what they need to do to improve the team going forward. And you could say that resting on their laurels is a mistake. It could be. This team has done some weird stuff. But, when healthy, this team has been pretty good. So we'll see what happens. But if they don't start to show sustainable improvement in this coming year, then I would expect some people to be on the hot seat going forward.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable, but we'll have to wait and see how things play out. I think that's going to do it for this episode, though, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Niners News. If you like what you see, do us a solid, hit that subscribe button. We're getting very close to our goal of 2,000 subscribers. We're going to be giving away 49ers jersey, so it could be you. Make sure your name's in the hat. Comment, subscribe, like this video. You know the drill.
Go ahead and click the bell for notifications so you never miss another new video. Until next time, go Niners.